Check. Let me know. Greetings. This is Danny Crucial here at the 19th Annual Sierra Nevada World Music Festival, here with Clayton Duncan of the Pomo Indians, and they have been blessing us every year since we've been at Boonville here. And Mr. Duncan, can you tell us a little something about that and speak on that for us here today?
Okay,
Welcome.
Hey, Junta hey, that's how you say it. How you doing there? But
Chuta hey.
about 7 years ago actually, Warren and Gretchen came to our res, and they were looking for a new place to do the Sierra Nevada World Music Festival, and they want to come up north. And so I gave them a tour of our res, and they checked, I guess, several other places, and they had 3 places up. This one, our res, and another place, and they picked this place right here. But I guess for me doing the tour for them, and talking to them, they asked me if I would do the opening prayer for the, because this is basically the Pomo Nation, the Mendocino County, Lake County, Napa, and Sonoma is all Pomo Nation. So, and I was gladly actually, yeah, right on, and here I am, and this is our 6th year. So, and I enjoy it very much.
Good. And can you tell us a little something about, the message you'd like to portray, to the listeners today, and the fans of these type of festivals, and the like-minded people as yourself?
Well, I'm a native person. They call us Pomo, but actually all the 500 nations in America their tribal names mean human being or people. And Pomo is a given name to us. It's really not our tribal name. And so, but we use it, for legal purposes. My tribe is the Robinson Rancheria Eastern Band of Pomo Indians. And 26,000 years ago, we were just called Hinthel, and that means people or human being. That's the name God gave us. In our language, Waharika, we pray to Waharika, and Waharika means our Father. And so that's who God is to us. So. But the Pomo name, I'm also a Yuki, and which is another given name. I'm also a Karu, and that's the Little Lake people up in Laytonville, and I'm also a Maidu, that means the people. So I'm 4 tribes in Northern California.
Excellent. Good. And this is also my 6th year here at Sierra Nevada. Can you tell us a little something about your experience here with, Gretchen and Warren and the people and the vibrations and things like that?
Well, man, it's a lot of positive energy coming out of these songs. The message that these reggae singers, I feel personally, in my opinion, that it just talks about going back to balance. And that's how our people live for, again, I say that the Pomo people in Lake County, we go back 26,000 years. That's way before the Bering Straits theory.
Wow.
And so we don't believe in that Bering Straits. It's all BS. But our people, we had an atrocity, or we call it a murder, or the stealing of our land that happened in 1850. They call Bloody Island, and my great-grandmother survived out of that. And it seems like the assimilation that they did to Indian people, they got lost about who they are, about the human beings that they really are. And then when my mom told me about Grandma, because she saw the anger I had, after I started learning the history, I got angry toward America and what they did. And I said, how am I going to revenge? I was thinking about revenge, because that seemed like that's what America does. Every time something happens, they go out and kill about, 1 million people. And so I was thinking about that. How am I going to get rid of about 30 million white men? And how am I going to do that? And, without poisoning the water and doing the kids and the women, and, I'll be doing the same thing they're doing. I was thinking crazy like that as a young man. And
Shut down Wall Street. Huh?
Yeah. And my mom goes, why do you got to be angry all the time? She goes, Grandma, she goes, used to get up every morning and every evening, and she'd go pray to Waharika and ask him for that energy of forgiveness. And I said, well, what'd she ask? This energy of forgiveness for what? She says, to forgive them. And the Flint man taught us that these strange people are going to come to our land, they're going to abuse us, they're going to do all these bad things to us. But don't fight them. Don't have a war with them or anything like that. You keep your faith, and you keep praying, you keep on believing, and one day I'll come back, the Flint man said. And so we didn't have any, big wars or war songs or war weapons like the Lakota or the Apache or, the fighting Indian people. And we weren't like that. And so when I thought about that forgiving thing, and I go, wow, that's who we are, And I start doing a ceremony. And this is our 13th year that I've done this ceremony. And it's a ceremony of forgiveness to America. And honoring those people there at the island. There were over 200 people, women and children, bayoneted. It was the same thing Manson did, right? But they used bayonets, these soldiers. And then they took all of these bodies and they took it to the east side peak of that island. There was an island, and then there was a peak on the east side of that island. And so they took all those bodies over there, they dug a hole on the top, and they cremated all of these, people. Well, the Army Corps of Engineers came along in the early 1900s, and they wanted to cut off where they got that East Lucerne cut off in Lake County now. Well, they had to build dikes to stop the water from coming in. That used to be all lake up to Upper Lake. Well, guess what? Where they get the dirt to build these dikes was our burial ground. And I went to a meeting with the EPA and with the Lake County's Board of Supervisors and all the, I guess, the big shots you want to call them or whatever. And I asked that question. I go, where are these studies you did on the people that got murdered at Bloody Island? All those women and children over there, did you guys do a study? Where's the paperwork or where's the study? Could I have it? And if you didn't, why didn't you? Aren't they human being enough to study, and to make a burial site a reserve, for like burials, and respected. And man, after I asked that question, you could hear a pin fall in that building. Nobody had an answer. And they tried to keep on going with the meeting, and one of my partners, another non-Indian guy, he raises his hand and he goes, Mr. Duncan here asked you guys a question. How come you guys didn't answer him? Anybody got an answer? Nobody had an answer. And they knew what they'd done, but they didn't want to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to give it up, though. Our people never had a proper burial. They never got to hear, when they were going home, the drum that we play when we send them home. They didn't get to hear, those songs that we send them home with. And everybody deserves a proper burial. Everybody in the world does. So that's kind of like what I'm kind of want to do, to me, it brings back balance.
Well, thank you for sharing that knowledge today with us. It needs to be heard.
Yeah, and
kind of the American way, and it shouldn't be. We
want to change the town's name, Kelseyville. The guy was a child molester. He, did that to those Cobenapo people over there, and it was a different tribe that he did that to, right? And after they executed him, the soldiers come to our tribe, and they was teaching us a lesson, and we had nothing to do with that Kelsey's execution. But they named a town after this pedophile. Sutter is another pedophile they name a town after, and so a lot of these cities and towns, the energy, when you do something like that, I mean, we might as well have a Jeffrey Dahmer drive-through, a John Wayne Gacy boys camp, you know what I'm saying? A Sandusky boys camp. Sandusky boys camp, if we're going to have a Kelseyville or a Sutter town. That's my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
Canuctai. Yeah, a lot of people want to rename the town Canuctai. Canuctai, in our language, it meant old lady sleeping. That's a volcano. Yeah. So we named it Old Lady Sleeping.
That's our mountain.
All right. Well, Clayton, I thank you so much for sharing your knowledge here today, and we appreciate your blessing every year for the past 6 years, and look forward to that for years to come. And keeping this festival safe and with the positive vibes that you're spreading.
I want to say one more thing.
Oh, sure. We have plenty of time. I was going to see if Terry would like to ask some questions as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been fighting cancer for 13 years, and in those 13 years, I had a lot of time to think about, because like cancer, you don't know when you're going to boogie or not, right? And so I had a lot of time to think. I had a lot of time to pray. I read so much about, cancer and how to cure it. And I'm using the THC now, the what you call it. It's helping me out, helping
it's proven.
Me out. Yeah.
It's a proven cure for cancer.
But in that time, I had a lot of time to talk to our Creator. you know, and ask him all these things that I'm doing, the way I think, and you know, I had a lot of time to just find out who I am as a human being, and I was told not to fight that fight, you know, but to tell the story about my grandma and her forgiveness. And so that's kind of like where my life, rest of my life is going, is to respect my great-grandma. To me, she has power. And to what these presidents and all those guys, all they got is authority to boss people around and tell them what to do. My great-grandma had power because she's pulling me around. She's not even here. She's been gone since 1954. But yet she's pulling me around by my ear, going to these ceremonies, going here, telling the story about Bloody Island. Because it has to, there was 500 nations, and every one of them went through a bloody island or a wounded knee. Every one of them. And out of the 60 million people, only 250,000 were left.
Tell us when the, can you hear me okay? Okay, yep. Tell us when the Bloody Island ceremony is every year.
May 15th, 1850 is when the massacre happened. And so around the 15th, I try to pick the Saturday closest to the 15th. And that's when we have it. So this year was the 19th. And only reason I did that, instead of picking the earlier date, you know, I said, man, I need another week. Because I really don't have the energy to do a lot of things anymore, you know, like I used to. I'm a ball player, man.
So I know last year, I didn't get to attend this year, but last year I know there was amazing visitation by some of the horses.
Yeah.
And maybe you could tell people about that awesome experience.
Well, we've been doing this ceremony for 13 years, like I said, and the last 3 years, these orbs have been showing up. You can Google it. And these orbs are, what the medicine man told me was that they're the ancestors, and the ancestors are here to say thank you. Oh, thank you everybody for, you know, giving us this honor, and they're also saying, what can we do to help? So when I pray now, I got kids in South Dakota, New Mexico, and you know, all over the states, so grandkids too. And so when I pray, I ask these ancestors that was at our ceremony to go out there and watch my kids, and you know, to be there when I'm not.
And do you feel like they're actually looking over you in that respect?
Right now, I believe, yes. I'm such a believer in the ancestors. Beautiful. Now. This year, I have one where it just looks like a little moon was in the circle with us, and this is the darkest and, you know, the best orb that I've ever shot.
Yes. So. Well, what really moved me of last year's ceremony was the 3 horses that came. There was a red horse. There was a kind of a
white one, and a black, and a really dark brown.
And a dark brown one. And to me, it represented like all the colors of the people of the earth.
The 4 sacred colors is black, red, yellow, and red. Black, red, yellow, and white.
Right.
That's the 4
and
sacred
these
colors.
horses ran in synchronicity from one side of the field right up to the fence where the people were, where the ceremony was going on. There was about 100 people, and they all ran together as one. And to me, it just spoke to what you were doing in this ceremony, and bringing all these different. There was a Buddhist priest there. I mean, he brought all these people together. There was about 200 people there that day, and everybody was there to remember and forgive what happened at Bloody Island. So it was very phenomenal. We really appreciate
beyond
it.
Coincidence.
It was really nice. So the last 3 years, these orbs been showing up now. And,
in the photographs that are taken.
In the photo, and not only my camera, but other people's cameras.
Yeah, the ancestors are there. You can feel it. Yeah.
The first year, there was like hundreds, right? And then the second year, I did an activity. We call it the Hands Around the Lake. And we went out there and prayed for the lake, right? There was only 12 of us that did that. Maybe this year might be more, but we did that, and then we took pictures. And those pictures, about 4 cameras, I guess, were taking pictures. But there were thousands of orbs. And I'm thinking, with all the people that got, illegally, I mean, well, they got murdered, or, homicide happened to them, and they never got their right justice done to them. But they were all there, at the Hands Around the Lake, and there was like white, black, green, yellow, and purple people there,
Right.
So they loved that stuff.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for what you do. We are very blessed to have you giving the blessing. I think it's a wonderful thing, and also just adds so much more to the festival when we started off on the right foot. And the dancers were fabulous, by the way.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? We had,
Tell us about
how many girls? How many girls we had, I think. I forgot how many girls, but this year, for those girls being there, that many girls, they were everybody around here. This whole concert was blessed by our Indian women and my grandson. He was like he's 4 years old.
Oh, that was
he was out there boogieing, you know.
Well, happy Father's Day
Awesome.
late
Yeah.
to you as well,
Yeah.
and grandfather.
All right, my dear.
All right,
So thank you
guys.
so much for
Okay.
that. And we'll see you next year.
Peace.
Yes, Clayton Duncan here at the 19th Annual Sierra Nevada World Music Festival. Thank you so much.
All right, guys.